This video is brought to you by the Deck of Many and their Heckna 5e campaign setting book. Hello and welcome back to the Gallant Goblin. I am super excited for today's video. As you may know, we have a love for kobolds here at the Gallant Goblin, and I personally love products that make it easier for folks new to the hobby to jump right in and start playing, or for experienced GMs to have something that they can add to their ongoing campaigns very easily, or to run as short one-shots or mini campaigns for new players. So all my loves are mixed together right here in this box, Epic Encounters Shrine of the Kobold Queen from Steamforged Games. Many thanks to them for sending us this preview copy to review with you. This box has an adventure, it has maps, it has GM tips to help you if you're new to storytelling as a GM, and it has minis, 20 unpainted minis to be exact. And this is just the first Epic Encounter. There are more to come. So let's open this box up and take a closer look. Let's start by seeing what's in the box. Included in the set are 20 unpainted minis in 9 unique sculpts, 1 double-sided map, and 1 adventure book. Just like many of the other third-party adventures we talk about here at the Gallant Goblin, from Humblewood to the Big Bad Booklet series to Heckna to Odyssey of the Dragon Lords, Shrine of the Kobold Queen here is designed to be run with 5th edition D&D rules. So you will need to bring your own Dungeon Master's Guide and Player's Handbook, as well as some dice and character sheets, though, of course, all that you need to run this thing is available online for free as well. If you don't have the free D&D rule set, we'll link it in the video description down below. The design of this adventure is pretty unique. It can be run at 3 different tiers. If you're playing with characters from levels 1 to 4, for example, the DC for most checks will be 12, and the damage dealt by hazards will use a D4. For levels 5 through 10, the DC is 14, and the damage is based on a D8, and for levels 10 and higher, the DC is 18, and the damage is based on a D10. It's noted that this adventure here was tuned for those lower levels of play, but you can apply some tweaks to up the challenge for higher level characters. To my eyes, it seems that this adventure would be best for characters level 3 or 4. Let's talk about the story a bit and take a closer look at these minis. The game and story were developed by Richard August at Steamforged Games. He was also the lead writer for Cats and Catacombs, which obviously we'll be reviewing soon too. So without going into too much detail and giving you too many spoilers, Shrine of the Kobold Queen tells the story of a tribe of kobolds called the Firebrand Kobolds, led by a mysterious and powerful Messiah Queen. This leader, who's known as Mother Krangor, is a powerful and influential shaman. She's made powerful allies and secured a series of caverns for her growing tribe. In this adventure, you'll play heroes preparing to confront this dangerous cult before it has a chance to grow into something unstoppable. 8 different story hooks are provided, which will help you craft your story depending on your party makeup and the region of the world in which you want to set your adventure. You'll need to weave your own story from the seeds they provide you or your own story hook up until the characters approach the Firebrand Kobold camp, which is where the adventure book really picks up. But let's take a closer look at some of the enemies your group will encounter. Standard stat blocks are provided for all these creatures so you can use them in any of your adventures. One thing I want to note is that the packaging for this set is fantastic and should ensure that your figures arrive in pristine condition. But let's take a closer look at these minis. The Firebrand Kobold is quite nimble, but not especially strong or wise. They come armed with a spear and a short bow. The set includes 4 Kobold minis armed with the spear and 4 armed with the short bow. All of them are on small-sized bases. They have the Packed Tactics feature, which enables them to attack with advantage if their ally is also next to their foe and threatening it. As creatures who live primarily underground, they don't do well in the sun and actually have disadvantage on attacks and perception checks made in the sunlight. This stat block is also used for the 2 included Kobold Basilisk Handler minis. The Basilisk Handler Kobold minis are ready with their staves to urge their Basilisk into battle. We'll talk more about that Basilisk in just a little while here. The Firebrand Assassins are especially nimble foes armed with a pair of knives. They're able to leap into or out of combat without triggering attacks of opportunity. While they're also sensitive to sunlight, they're actually immune to fire damage, though vulnerable to cold. They're CR1 small creatures with the multi-attack feature. The Firebrand Kobold tribe has tamed the frightful Ember Rage fire snake and made it into a mount. The snake itself has a stat block, and it's a fairly formidable foe. It's immune to fire and also resistant to standard non-magical weapon attacks. Its superheated body deals damage to anyone who touches or strikes it, and it can multi-attack with its bite and tail, which both do standard and fire damage. It's considered a CR1 creature. Note that the Kobold is not removable from the fire snake, and the base on this creature is a bit larger than your standard medium-sized base. The priests of the Bloody Flame are some of Mother Krangor's most trusted disciples. They're third-level clerics, along with having the typical Firebrand Kobold strengths and weaknesses. They're able to cast Prayer of Healing, Continual Flame, Healing Word, Inflict Wounds, Guiding Bolt, Shield of Faith, among other cleric spells. As CR1 creatures, they're quite formidable, and having an enemy healer in a fight can really up the tension of an encounter. The champion Firebrand Kobold is tougher and stronger than your average run-of-the-mill Firebrand Kobold. Not only does he have an increased AC and more hit points, he's able to essentially get a surprise round action at the start of combat, no matter how the combat was initiated, due to his impossible speed. He wields twin daggers, which he attacks with simultaneously. The Firebrand Kobold champion is a level 1/2 small creature. The Magma Belcher Basilisk is a tough beast. He has the usual Basilisk ability to turn foes who look at him directly into stone, but he's also full of rock, magma, and bile, which he can belch out onto victims in a 15-foot cone, dealing a significant amount of fire damage. All that, and his bite deals extra poison damage. Like the regular D&D Basilisk, this monstrosity is labeled as a medium-sized creature, but he comes on a large-sized base in this set. Mother Krangor herself is an 8th level cleric with spells such as Death Ward, Stone Shape, Bestow Curse, Dispel Magic, Revivify, and Spirit Guardians. She's also immune to fire damage but sensitive to sunlight and vulnerable to cold. As a winged kobold, she has a fly speed and can buffet enemies from a distance with her wings. In a pinch, she can multi-attack, twice with her sickle staff, and once with her wing buffet. She's considered a CR4 creature. The included adventure comes in 2 parts. The first part takes place in the Firebrand Kobold encampment. The second half is in Mother Krangor's caverns. The included map is printed on high-quality paper, is 16 by 22 inches in size, and looks quite beautiful. It features the encampment on one side and the caverns on the other. They're just generic enough that you should be able to reuse this map for other adventures. The cavern side is a wee bit dark, but should be completely usable. Each map is broken down into areas in the module, 5 different areas for the encampment and 8 for the caverns. Each area has a beautifully written description and at least one interesting encounter mechanic for the players to deal with, and they're not all combat related. For example, deep in the caverns, the players will discover a hatchery of fire snake eggs, and if they don't tread lightly, they may find themselves overrun with a mob of baby fire snakes. When there are combat encounters, the author, Mr. August, does a good job of giving you some strategies for the enemies and tips on making the combat exciting. With dungeon crawls, you risk combat feeling very samey after a while, and you can tell that he worked hard to make each encounter unique and interesting. Overall, this is a great set by the team at Steamforged Games. It gives new players a good jumping on point before they dive into longer starter adventures like the D&D Starter Kit or the Essentials Kit. And it gives us, experienced players, a fun adventure to drop into our ongoing campaigns or to use as a one-off. It would be great fun to take this set to a board game or D&D meetup when those start happening again. Just grab some PC minis, some dice, and some blank character sheets, and invite some new players around to enjoy a fun, self-contained adventure and introduce them to the hobby we all love so much. Well, I say self-contained, but did I mention that there's a continuation of this adventure if you're not ready for the fun to end just yet? This is Lair of the Red Dragon, which we'll be reviewing soon. If that video is out now when you're watching this, you can see it by clicking the eye in the corner of your screen. It sounds like epic encounter boxes will fall into 2 categories. Minion boxes like this one, and boss monsters like this one, the Lair of the Red Dragon. We'll see what the differences are between the 2 in our next video. I don't have a lot of suggestions for improving what they've made here, as they've done a pretty bang-up job, but when possible, I like to offer some constructive feedback. In the book itself, it would be helpful if the enemy names were in maybe bold text to make sure I don't miss any in the excitement of playing. And sometimes Steamforged Games releases painting guides for their minis, which I'd love to see for these fellas. The art style and design in the book is gorgeous, but it uses a muted color palette that I'm not sure how to adapt into mini painting. The details of the minis themselves are great though, and they should look beautiful once you paint them up. Epic Encounter Shrine of the Kobold Queen is available for pre-order now on the Steamforged Games web store for $49.95. You can also pick it up from your usual online retailers or brick and mortar retailers, and it looks like you can find a bit of a pre-order discount if you shop around. The release date is October 12th, 2020, so you can get yours just in time to run a creepy fire cult game at your Halloween parties, if you're able to have them safely by then, of course. If you do have any questions about the set, please leave them for me in the comment section down below. And be sure to subscribe to see all our reviews of the follow-up set, Lair of the Red Dragon, and all our other TTRPG reviews. Many thanks again to Steamforged Games for sending us this review copy, and to our sponsor for this video, the Deck of Many. Heckna is our new campaign setting book coming to Kickstarter on September 8th. It features a new carnival setting called the Revelia, run by the titular ringleader Heckna, who loves to fright and delight his audience. You can check out the free playtest version by visiting the link in the video description below, or sign up to be notified when the Kickstarter goes live by visiting heckna.com. Thank you for watching today. Let me know what you think of this box by leaving me a comment down below. And what other sorts of minion boxes would you like to see? I'd love to see some of the more obscure monsters get a set. Maybe an urban were-rat adventure, or a coastal Sahuagin module. There's lots of interesting creatures out there to choose from. If you enjoyed our video today, kindly click the little thumbs up button down below so other people can find our channel, and join the discussion on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. Otherwise, keep yourself safe out there, have fun, and I'll see you next time at the Gallant Goblin.